boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm for Classic and welcome to BenchART. So for today what I do have in here is Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game free. This game it is developed by the Milestones SRI and it is using Unreal Engine 4. Milestones SRI are the developers of a multitude of bike games like MotoGP, MXGP, Valentino Rossi. So yeah, they just pretty much produce motocross games or bike games, and for example some of them share the gameplay from ones to another's. Like for example, this Supercross shares the same gameplay as MXGP. The only difference is MXGP it is more focused into national events, and the Supercross it is more into, like the name says it, Supercross events. So for the settings on my HD 7850, which is the same as the R7 265 or the R7 372 GB, the experience that you can expect it is pretty much to play between median settings or the maximum. I will explain. So first of all, the requirements. These guys require an R7 370X, which we are below. So we are below minimum requirements in here in graphic cards, which is exactly not really true, because at the median settings, the settings that I will be using throughout this video, I was able to get an average of 42 frames per second with a 1% low of 35. If you decide to raise to the high settings, you get a slightly worse average of 39 frames per second with a 1% low of 32, and the very high or the ultra, which is actually the maximum settings you can go for, runs pretty much the same. So it's, the difference between graphics between the high settings, the very high, and the maximum are pretty much non-existent. To be honest, there are barely any difference between all these settings, aside from the high settings to median and the median to low. The low settings disables pretty much all the stuff and looks ugly, and that's why there is a very big performance boost comparing to median settings. For this video I decided to go with median settings just because I believe that you can play this game just fine with the high settings. I was just a little bit concerned because I choose this track not because it is the most demanding, but because it is the most mainstream you can select in here. So it doesn't mean that this is the most demanding track available, and that's the reason why I decided to go with median, because I'm expecting to exist tracks more demanding than this one. So yeah, in case you find a more demanding track, playing at maximum settings or very high settings might not be enough to have a sustainable 30 frames per second experience. So yeah, pretty much above 30 frames per second in all settings in this track. Good stuff. Performance, it isn't really bad. As for 60 frames per second, I did not try to target 60 frames per second, but I believe that if you play with 900p and go with low settings, you might be able to get 60 frames per second most of the time, although not sustainable all the time. As for the game itself, so the game doesn't change much from Supercross 2. It is pretty much the same game, and Metacritic scores are reasonable at best. So the game scores around 72 on Metacritic, and if you go to Steam users' opinions, the opinions are around 67%. Most of the users are satisfied, but most of them just complain about the fact that there was bugs that wiped out all the career. Some of them don't recommend the game because there are very bad physics into the game and mechanics that doesn't make really any sense. Some of them say that yeah, there are some artificial intelligence bugs. There are other bugs in here that are ridiculous, like the fact that you get out of the track and appears a countdown saying that you have 5 seconds to return to the track, but immediately the game spawns you back to the track, losing the possibility of getting back to the track. So there are some weird stuff going on with this game, and it doesn't seem that the developers are really concerned in fixing these issues. It seems that they just don't care, and it seems that they are the type of developers that prefer to release a new game and fix one or two issues than just fixing the issues for their games. So yeah, Milestones SRI usually releases at least one game per year, and most of them are just revamps from the other games, which is quite disappointing. Although the game it is quite expensive, it costs $49.99, so it's a full price title. I don't think it is worth the money unless you are really a fan of motocross or supercross. In that case, you might think for yourself that, yeah, this might be a good deal for you. But for the rest of the people that just want to enjoy a supercross game or a motocross game, they might say that, okay, the game, it is reasonable, but I actually like the game. But yeah, for $49.99, I can't really recommend it. I should recommend you to get this game on a sale, but usually Milestones don't do too much sales. So anyway, just stay alerted for new sales in case of, in fact, that you want this game. So that's all that I want to talk about Monster Energy Supercross 3, the official video game. Hope you keep enjoying the rest of the video. I will be playing on a different track, a little bit more countryside, since I thought that it would be interesting. And that's all. Hope you keep enjoying the rest of the video, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.